Got a 10-mark question on crime prevention from paper 3. Let's have a look at how we would answer that. So starting off by looking at the question, it is a question 3. It is asking you to apply material from the item. You have got to use the item. If you don't, you're going to cap your marks at 3 if you don't use it at all, and 7 if you only use it once. It's asking you to analyse. Now that's a cheeky way of saying break down the explanation logically, but also there is marks available for evaluation. It wants you to analyse the effectiveness of 2 crime prevention strategies. So basically, you're going to get your knowledge of giving what the crime prevention strategies are and saying why they're effective. So what's good about them, but also criticisms of them also. So what do you look for in the item then? It's whatever comes after the word 2. In this case, it's the crime prevention strategies. So our 3 hooks are these. Firstly, there's been an opportunity to commit it, so let's make it difficult. This is part of the right realist situational crime prevention. The second one is here, degeneration of a particular locality, suggesting that crimes are tolerated. So the clue there is tolerance or zero tolerance, which is an environmental crime prevention strategy, again, right realist. And finally, poor living conditions, which is suggesting that people are living in poverty. So this is more of a left realist policy, which is our social and community. So you're going to choose the 2 that you know most about, that you have the biggest knowledge, that you can apply examples of, and also evaluate the effectiveness, both the strengths and the weaknesses of this. Now, one way you can answer this is start with the item, because that's where your knowledge has got to come from. Now, there is no hard and fast rules about it. You can write an answer and then link it to the item at the end. However, I'm doing it at the beginning. So it's the opportunity to commit it. We're then linking it to the crime prevention strategy. We're going to show knowledge of this and explain what that is. So every time you introduce the term, you're going to explain it. The aim is to reduce the opportunity for crime. How? By making it harder, increase the effort and the risk. We might even give some examples of this situational crime prevention, which includes target hardening, and give some examples of what people might do. So locked doors and windows, CCTV and security guards, which is putting people off crime. We also might link it into our realist, show a bit of knowledge of our theory, Clarke's rational choice theory, and just explain what that is. The view that criminals weigh up before deciding to commit a crime, and that most crime is opportunistic. So we want to reduce the opportunities, which actually links back to the item hook. So we're thinking logically as we're answering this. Now, what you could add here as well is actually a further piece of research just to illustrate and actually use to show how effective this strategy might be. So we could link it into Felsen and the New York bus terminal. Okay, the Port Authority bus terminal. And that might be a really good example to explain how they made it harder for people to commit crime. They basically designed crime out. They redesigned the toilets, they improved the lighting, and this had a real positive effect. So we could even say at this point here how effective this strategy was, because in New York at the time, the crime rate went down. It's also practically a good strategy to use because people can implement it in their own homes. They can lock their own doors and windows, which is relatively cheap for them to do. And all the time you want to be saying, this is why this is effective, and use the words from the question just to link it back. Now, the biggest problem with this is that if we are encouraging people to use this strategy to design crime out and make it harder for people to commit crime, it causes what we call displacement. They're going to move to where there is more opportunity, and we're going to link it back. This shows it's not always effective. Now, you could go into a bit more detail about what displacement might be, because it can happen in more than one way. You could change the victim, you could change the location, you could even change the crime. So show your knowledge of that as well, just to really strengthen your evaluation point. And finally, this strategy is only really effective on street crime or theft, burglary, those types of crimes. And it ignores the crimes of the powerful, which tends to not be tackled with this type of crime prevention strategy. So hopefully this will show you how to structure your paragraph in order to answer it. I would have a go at choosing one of the other hooks, follow this strategy. So start off by explaining what the crime prevention strategy is, give some examples of it, and then state why is it effective, what's good about it, and also the potential problems with that strategy also, in order to complete your second paragraph.